Hey folks, Nathan here from Star Wars Beyond the Films, the Star Wars Timeline Gold, and the Star Wars Reports Rebels Roundtable, bringing you again something a little bit different here in the feed. Recently I posted a video of a card trick that I tried with my students over the years because it's one that works by math and it's just kind of a fun thing to do. Well, I wouldn't be doing my job and showing you some fun things to do that might be obscure if I didn't show you one of my favorite games of all time. One that unfortunately is somewhat lesser known. Now you might be saying, well, duh, I know this one, right? Pawns? King and queen, bishops, knights, rooks, yeah, duh. You're basically saying, hey, let me show you chess. Nathan, you're an idiot. Of course people know about chess, but I'm not talking about chess. I'm talking about Knightmare Chess. I like chess. I'm not an expert or anything. It's not like I go around and memorize openings and names of things like that. I just want to play when I'm playing chess. Call me an amateur who does it just for the fun of it. But I also like trading card games. For a while I was into Magic. I was into the Star Wars CCG for a while. I played the Wars TCG that I wrote a couple of novellas based on for Grail Quest Books a while back. We've got the LCG of Star Wars coming for Fantasy Flight Games. I like card games. I tend to like them, though, where you can buy a set of cards and not have to constantly buy booster packs. And it turns out that you can take the not wanting to buy booster packs, an LCG kind of concept before Fantasy Flight Games really was using the idea, add it into chess, and you've got Knightmare Chess. Here's the idea. Make a move, play a card. Basically changes the rules of chess. This is based on, and I have trouble saying this, a French game entitled Tempête sur l'Échiquier? Something like that? That Steve Jackson Games acquired the license for and has been producing in kind of fits and starts. The game actually launched with the first set, Knightmare Chess. All right, trying to show you this here without knocking over any pieces. There we go. Knightmare Chess, back in 1996. Gives you a layout of a little bit about what's in the set. Chess will never be the same. You got that right. Then, after putting out a second edition, a revised edition of that first set in 97, in 98 we've got Knightmare Chess 2. Each of these basically comes with 80 cards and can be played either separately or together. Essentially, different back there for those who care. Essentially, the idea is that as you're playing, you have a deck of cards. Now, the traditional rules of Knightmare Chess say, okay, I need to build a deck. So I'm going to do like I do in some games, like say with squad points or squadron points in X-Wing. And there's a number value to any individual card, and we're going to have, say, a 150-point game, or a 200-point game, or whatever. Maybe we're going to handicap that game, and I've got this number of points, my opponent has another number of points because maybe I'm more experienced at it than he is, and so on and so on. So you customize your decks, or each of you simply plays from your own set, if you both happen to own the game. I tend to like the variant that has a common deck where all the cards are in one giant stack, you're both drawing from the same thing, and that actually allows you to discard a card on the opponent's turn as well. That is actually the way that the original French game was played. But here's the gist. You're playing regular chess, right? Pieces moving as normal, yada yada yada. But on your turn and on your opponent's turn, you have a hand of 5 of these cards. And depending on when the card says you can use it, you'll be able to play a card on your turn and on the opponent's turn. And generally, it changes the rules of play, whether it's for that turn or maybe for the entire game. Stylistically, you got these here that are very dark, that have symbols on them to represent the different individual pieces they could affect. Like in this case, this can affect a bishop, right? Diagonals, a knight, a rook, or a pawn. This is riposte. Play this card when your opponent captures one of your pieces without using a card. Your piece stays in its place, and your opponent's piece is captured instead. You lose your next move. You cannot take a king or queen, hence not being listed here, with this card. And they always tell you at the bottom when you can play it. Play this card when one of your pieces is captured without using a card. So on your opponent's turn, boom, you bust out riposte, and all of a sudden theirs is captured instead of yours, changing the rules of play. Now, there are always going to be timed as to when you can play it, but there's all kinds of interesting variants that you could use as you're playing the game that change the strategy from just chess strategy to sort of trading card game strategy mixed with chess. This is your battlefield. These are your battlefield orders and situations constantly changing in this medieval world. Some of my favorites, I love confabulation. Confabulation. Make an otherwise legal move which puts two of your pieces on the same square. These two pieces merge into a new piece that can move and capture like either one of them, and be affected by any card that affects either of them. Move the two pieces together. A king cannot merge. Play this card on your move instead of making a regular move. Continuing effect until the combined piece is captured. In other words, let's say I like my queen, but you know what? I'd like to give my queen the ability to also capture like a knight. I move my knight. Oh, let's say it's over here. I move my knight, combine it with my queen, playing confabulation. Boom, all of a sudden, I got one piece now instead that's going to be a queen, essentially, that moves like a queen, but also moves like a knight. Pretty cool. I love confabulation. Probably my favorite card of the entire thing. There are cards that are just meant to be frustrating. Lots of them have the Knightmare character on them. They're basically telling the opponent, yeah, whatever move you just did, you take it back. Whatever card you just played, you take it back. Too bad, so sad, do something else. We have ones that can help you when you're in check, and it seems like there's no way out. Hidden Passage. Move your king to any unoccupied square of the chessboard. Play this card on your move instead of making a regular move. So, a hidden passage to allow your king to escape. Lots of really cool continuing effects. Amazon. All the queens on the board become Amazons for the rest of the game. An Amazon can move as a knight or a bishop. Okay? So instead of moving like a rook or a bishop, you move like a knight or a bishop. Changes up the play of the queens on both sides. Crack of Doom. Just to give you an idea of how this can sort of change the play area itself. Choose where an 8 square long straight crack appears between two ranks or two files. No pieces, even those which can jump, can cross this line. So, oh, you're pissing me off? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bzzz. Now there's a crack of doom running down the center there. You can't cross. Or Earthquake. I like Earthquake. Oh, I'm going to mess up my board doing this. Turn the chessboard at right angles. Clockwise or counterclockwise. Pawns still move away from their owner. Any pawn in the last new rank is promoted. Your opponent promoting first. A pawn in the new first rank can move 1 or 2 squares forward. In other words, you're playing and all of a sudden, Earthquake. The board just changed and now my pawns are going this way, theirs are going this way. This one gets promoted, this one gets promoted, right? Assuming that these were mine, those were his. So Earthquake is fun. Vendetta. Again, changing the rules of play. Each player must now use his move to capture one of his opponent's pieces if he can do so. The effect lasts until one of the players cannot make a capture. You're not required to play a card to make a capture, even if you have a card that would let you capture. In other words, kill, 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 instead of strategy. You can change the way that you win the game. King of the Mountain, continuing effect. Play this card when the 4 squares in the middle of the chessboard are unoccupied. And I will note here, the card style. The original style is very dark, 2nd edition, and the second set, much lighter in color here. But play this card when the 4 squares in the middle of the chessboard are unoccupied. The first player whose king begins and ends in the same central square for 3 of his turns in a row wins the game. Victory can still be achieved by checkmate. Pretty sweet, new way to win. And, just in case you really want to get fancy, the second of these sets, Knightmare Chess 2, comes with 2 blank cards, so you can create your own, as long as you and your opponent, of course, agree on what you're playing with in the game. You can actually also, at the time, spend about $5 and get about 20 of these blank ones in one package from Steve Jackson Games. Fantastic game. Unfortunately, it went out of print in the late 90s. Finally, last year, 2015, saw the return of Knightmare Chess. There is now a package, looks very much like the cover of the first one here. There is now a package out there that includes the entire 80-card set in a 3rd edition printing from the original Knightmare Chess, and the entire 80-card set from Knightmare Chess 2, including the 2 blank ones, all available as one package known as Knightmare Chess 3rd Edition that can be found most places like Miniature Market and whatnot for only $20. For $20, you get 2 sets of these cards all as one giant package and get to play chess in a way that's really, really entertaining. If you're into chess at all and into card games at all, you absolutely need to check out Knightmare Chess. I love it. I really wish I had a chance to play it more often. It is a fantastic game from Steve Jackson Games.